Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click that notification bell. Thanks. So, Bryan Kohberger is back in the news. It looks like his parents were recently subpoenaed to testify for a grand jury in Pennsylvania. And originally that was a rumor, but it seems to be very true. His family's been instrumental, I guess, and very cooperative through this investigation. And I just want to say that they are victims too. I feel very sorry for these people. They must be really going through hell. 4 months ago, I did a video and talked about a woman by the name of Dana Smithers who went missing right before Bryan left for Washington. I found that really eerily similar, that she had walked out, from a neighbor's house and then in the middle of the night kind of disappeared. I found that crime was close to his home, and there were a few other ones, but this one stood out to me personally, and I reported on that. And here's a clip from my earlier video of me talking about that, and you can check that video out as well. This person right here, especially in this photo, you can see there's something very wrong in that mind. As of today, he is waiving his extradition, but challenges his conviction. A public defender who was not named from Monroe County, Pennsylvania, said that Kohberger is eager to be exonerated of these charges and looks forward to resolving these matters as promptly as possible. Very interesting. This is going to be a rather interesting case, and I really wonder in his studies if he has experimented with crimes in the past. I did briefly look into some missing persons in the area of Pennsylvania that he lived. There are many, and there is a high drug area in the city of Allentown, which is not far away. However, one case kind of stood out to me. It could in fact have no relation whatsoever. However, there is a missing woman from the Pocono area there who went missing and just disappeared beyond a trace. It was about 39 minutes from the suspect's home, and about the same from the school where he attended. I will link that story in my description. There it is from the college, 51 minutes, 42 miles. This would have been right before he would have left to the Washington area. This woman basically disappeared without a trace. They have no leads in this case and have never found her or anything related to her disappearance. So that was a little bit of that particular video where I was really looking into his social media accounts before all of them were taken down, and who he was. And on May 1st, she was recently just found deceased off of the I-80 and Park Avenue there in Stroudsburg, right off the highway ramps. So Dana Smithers is deceased. She was just recently found, and I have a very strong suspicion that through the investigation of looking into the Idaho 4, they must have found either cell phone pings or something tying him to that area. I believe that's how they found her body. I don't have anything to substantiate that, but that's just my personal belief, that the investigation in Idaho led them somehow to that area because she was not previously found. I haven't gotten anything different as to details as, how she was found. But I did cover that 4 months ago, and I really feel for Dana's family. But it is official based on local reports there in Pennsylvania that they were indicted for that case with Dana. So there's a bank right near where she was dumped. They may have gotten surveillance from that bank. I don't know where he banked, but you can see the exit ramps off the interstate are right from that park area. And Stroudsburg is the closest, like, city where there's any shopping there. I used to live not far from there myself. So we know he went to school in DeSales. We know he went to school in that area, through his childhood. And he's linked to this lady. If you look at the map here, letter A there to the left of the screen is where Kohberger lives. His parents live currently. And at the bottom of the screen, where it says Hellertown down by Allertown, that's where DeSales is. And then to the right is where Stroudsburg is, and where this victim was last seen alive and found deceased. Kohberger also was talked about in the new Dateline video that just recently aired over the weekend. And I was, have been skeptical over a lot of these leaked sources, but something caught my attention that they had mentioned that the knife purchase was coming months before. So if there was truth to that, they mentioned that he drove that knife from Pennsylvania to Washington. And I really thought about Dana once again. So this investigation really, I think, led them to who killed Dana. And I think we're going to find out that he may very well have been the perpetrator. Many commentators had commented that this was likely not his first crime. Dr. Bethany Marshall, she was commenting early on that she didn't think it was this person's first crime. I personally like her. I think she's very good. I think that we're going to find out that Xana and Maddie may very well, in fact, from the start of my YouTubes, I kept saying I felt like it had something to do with the Mad Greek. I mean, for all we know, Xana has a sibling that goes to YSU. He may have seen her, somehow knew she worked there, or, he may have just gone in there and like Maddie. We just don't know. I know the restaurant has been pretty adamant that they didn't believe he was at the restaurant, but we just don't know yet.
Deeply saddened by the loss of both Maddie and Xana. They were wonderful workers. They've been here for a couple years with me. All of the employees are just shook right now, I think, as well as the rest of the Moscow community.
After all, Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there that weekend. She only went to show her friends her new car. And Ethan didn't live there. He just happened to be spending the night. So that restaurant, for me, just was a real common denominator. I think we're going to find that the investigation in Idaho clearly led to where he's at now. And I believe that these two girls, if not both, definitely one of them was a target. For sure. I do not think, despite all the news of Kaylee, I don't think it was her. And I certainly don't think Ethan was anticipated. I believe it was one of these two. What else was he involved in? We still never heard any investigative reports about that poor dog that was skinned in Moscow. Still no info on that. So there's another article stating that Bryan has a solid alibi in regard to the Smithers disappearance. But again, it's another source, so we don't know how true it is. But the grand jury has not concluded their proceedings, and this investigation is ongoing. I will continue to dig into this and definitely get back with everyone with more information as I find it. It's all just becoming really interesting at this point, because a lot of the speculation that I had when all of us were speculating on who could have done this, he's turning out to have these same qualities as what I was thinking back when, and many others. If you haven't checked out some of my earlier videos and are curious, go ahead and check them out and subscribe if you will. Stay tuned and be safe. Thanks for watching.